Let's make caldo de pollo. So we're going to start off with 2 tomatoes, 1 onion, and a jalapeno. And we're going to chop up the tomatoes and the onions as small as possible to dissolve them into the broth. As a little girl, I always wanted caldo de pollo when I wasn't feeling good, and I've had a migraine for 4 days, so this is definitely going to come in handy. I remember my mom would always make us caldo de pollo when we were sick, and even though I'm not physically sick, my migraine just makes me feel nauseous and uncomfortable, so this definitely came in at the perfect time. I love making soups because there's something you can kind of just throw in the pot and forget. I'm going to be walking you through how I make it. We're going to grab 1/3 cup of rice, set it aside. Now in a hot pan with oil, we're going to saute the onions, the tomatoes, and the whole jalapeno. You could chop up your jalapeno if you want it spicy. I didn't, so I just left it whole for the flavor and not for the spice. Now we're going to grab some minced garlic and just put in 1 tablespoon and let it saute until soft. Now we're going to throw in our rice that we had measured out. Throw in our water. You want to put enough water that it fills your stock pot halfway so you don't overflow. We're going to add more water to make sure there's enough water so we have a lot of broth for our soup. And we're going to season our broth with chicken bouillon, and I think I ended up using 4 or 5 tablespoons. This was a really large pot of soup, so I did season pretty well. I tasted it and it was still needing a little more, so I just added about the equivalent of 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Those little measuring spoons are about half a teaspoon size. And I'm just going to dissolve all that seasoning into the water, and I do taste it. There's no raw chicken in here yet. Do not taste it when there's raw chicken in there, okay? That'll make you sick. There's our chicken. I used chicken quarters and chicken legs, and Jose really likes chicken gizzards and chicken hearts, and they're actually really good for your iron if you're low iron. I don't mind them, but they're not my favorite, but Jose loves them, so I put them in, and here I am putting them in. Make sure your water's boiling when you put your chicken in. Now we're going to cut up our veggies. We're going to use 3 corns, 4 potatoes, some carrots, a chayote, and some Mexican squash. I chop them in half. These are super clean russet potatoes. Leave the skin on so they don't fall apart in your caldo. Super important. Now we're going to chop up our carrots. I like larger pieces of veggies in my soup, but you can cut them depending on your preference or like the children. You can add any vegetables that you have in your fridge, but these are the classic vegetables. And here I am cutting up my carrots. These are very clean with skin. I don't peel my carrots anymore because I found out that 50% of the vitamins from carrots are in the skin. So those are really important to keep on. Just make sure they're super clean. Here I am cutting them. You're going to notice that I separated my veggies by density. So you want to throw in your vegetables based on, this is my chayote and I'm just cutting it up into small pieces. I took off the pieces that were a little yellow because this chayote had been in my fridge for a little bit. There we go. Cut them in half. Those are about the size that I want them to be. Nope, I decided I want them smaller. Throw my vegetables into the broth based on their density. So corn first, I let that cook for about 15 minutes. Then I throw in my carrots and my chayote, let that cook for about 10 minutes. Then I throw in my potatoes, let that cook for about 10 minutes. And then I throw in my calabacitas and let those cook for about 10 minutes. And then my caldo's ready. It's actually a pretty simple recipe and it's super delicious. Here I am struggling to cut my corn. I like smaller pieces of corn in my caldo. I could have just cut it in half and thrown it in, but I like smaller pieces and I prefer fresh over frozen. So the struggle is happening. Kind of gently tap it so we don't break all the kernels, and then cutting up the calabaza. Here I am showing you that I separated the dense vegetables from the soft vegetables. Throwing in our corn, our chayote, our carrots, let those cook for 10 minutes. Now I'm throwing in our potatoes. Now we're going to throw in our zucchini and our soup. It's going to cook for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to cut our sides, which is our lime and avocado. I like avocado in my caldo, so I just put it on the side and everyone can scoop it in if they like. This avocado was so ready. It was so good. I know about avocado hand, so don't tell me to be careful. I am cautious when I'm cutting my avocado. Scoop it out. Make sure you get all that amazingness out of there. Set it aside. Warm up your comal. These are my favorite. These are a hybrid tortilla, so they're half flour, half corn. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Flip them with your hand porque we don't want to embarrass our grandmas and our tias and our moms. Serve yourself a bowl. I'm careful to not over mix so I don't destroy my caldo and all the veggies start to fall apart. Here I am showing you my serving. I did put some, that's for Jose. I did put some hearts and gizzards in there for him. Now we're going to add a scoop of red rice or Mexican rice. If you want this recipe, this is a unique recipe. Comment rice. Add your spoon. Roll up your tortilla and enjoy. I hope you guys make this if you're not feeling good or just on a cold day. Bye!